The Whiskey Speech, a short but monumental political speech about prohibition by Mississippi State Representative Noah S. Sweat. On April 4, 1952, Noah Sweat was standing on the podium in front of all the other state representatives and their wives at the King Edward Hotel in Jackson, Mississippi. He was about to deliver a speech he had been working on for nearly 2 months, a speech that would convey his message, his feelings toward prohibition in his state. And being only 28 at the time, he was very well experienced. He fought in World War II, flying in 35 missions and receiving the Distinguished Flying Cross Award. He was later voted into state legislation at the age of 24 with a law degree already under his belt. Sweat still not being satisfied, he continued to work towards his Master of Law degree, which he received in 1952, all while being a state representative at the same time. During this time of legislation, there was constant debate over the topic of prohibition, whether to legalize it or not in the state of Mississippi. So Noah Sweat basically wrote a speech that was going to address this controversial topic once and for all. To analyze Sweat's The Whiskey Speech, I'll be using Neo-Aristotelianism. And what Neo-Aristotelianism is the rhetorical method that gives you, the critic analyzing the speech, the tools necessary to break down the speech and highlight the effective rhetoric used throughout the text. I will demonstrate how effective the rhetoric used in the speech was on the audience to persuade them. By using colorful and descriptive language, Sweat focuses on ethos to create a strong and powerful connection with the audience. In the opening paragraph, Sweat discusses his stance on controversy. He always says he has a position to take on any controversial topic. At the time, the legalization of alcohol was a topic at bay. He was meaning that in this controversial topic of prohibition, he too has a stance toward it. He then proceeds to say, "All right, here's how I feel about whiskey." He is setting up the audience to make them think that he has a single stance on prohibition. The great thing about this speech is that both sides win. There is no right or wrong answer, but he makes the audience feel that he has a sense of a universal sense of view about alcohol. In the second paragraph, Sweat demonizes alcohol with his rich descriptive words, calling it the devil's brew, the bloody monster that defiles innocence and dethrones reasons. It creates misery and poverty. He is creating this image for the audience, creating an image of rage and distrust that the alcohol can bring. This all relates to the beginning of reason why they had prohibition set in the first place. Noah Sweat wanted to tell the audience that the misuse of alcohol led to the defiance of innocence amongst the people, and that among other horrendous things alcohol brings, he too is against it. Then going into the last paragraph of his speech, Sweat goes the complete opposite direction and makes alcohol seem like a joy. He calls it the oil of conversation, the drink that enables a man to magnify joy and his happiness. He portrays alcohol as the epitome of happiness, when just a few seconds ago he was demonizing it. The beauty of the contrast is to show that he doesn't have a true stance at all. He is for alcohol and all the good times it brings, but against all the alcohol for the bad it brings as well. This showed the audience that he cares about the both sides. He cares about the harm, but he also recognizes that joyous times can't come of it. The use of ethos ties the audience in emotionally because a lot of people have the exact same experiences Noah Sweat gave in his speech. Sweat later brings up how alcohol sales in our country fund our government services like disability, senior services, our highways and hospitals. He is bringing the emotional appeal that since there is no liquor sales, that basically there is less money for the disabled, for the seniors, for the highways and the hospitals. This message is really powerful in itself because he is telling the audience that alcohol fuels our economy, fuels America, which is a huge statement to make. Then right at the end, he finishes his speech off by saying, "This is my stance. I will not retreat from it. I will not compromise." Tying it all together that he does have a stance toward prohibition. He is for the good of it, but against the bad too. Now, looking at all the ethos in this main rhetorical, as using as the main rhetorical tool in this speech, ethos as his context connects the use of alcohol with the negative and positive experiences. This speech was loved and hated by both sides because it resonated with both sides negatively and positively. Noah Sweat was very effective in his use of rhetoric to create an emotional connection with the audience by using such descriptive language to paint a picture of good and the bad sides of alcohol. Thank you.